Hello and welcome to the Bot Box. Okay, we're back. We all refreshed and all that jazz? Ready for more Firestorm? Of course we are. So, before I go on, a little erratum notice from yesterday. Firestorm did not have 44 fights. It had 45 fights. The wiki, in its win the win-loss record, omitted the win over Hypnodisc in the Series 5 third, fourth place playoff because it was by default. However, I included that fight anyway because you can't not, and therefore the total is bumped up to 45. Thanks, Wiki. Anyway, let's go on to Series 6, where the yellow and red front-hinged flipper was now up to Firestorm 4. However, one of the original team members had left. There were 3 of them, and now they were back down to 2. They were seeded third and landed in Heat B, where they drew Flipper, Axbot, Megahertz 2, Vertical Spinner, Cedric Slammer, and Flipper Colossus. Great start for me. Firestorm 4's first target was Cedric Slammer, flipping them over and nudging them. Firestorm 4 then left Cedric Slammer to be counted out. It had a self-righter, but it was not doing its thing. Colossus opened the pit and was almost immediately flipped into a corner by Firestorm 4. Indeed, Colossus couldn't self-right from where it was flipped and pushed. And that is even if Colossus could self-right in the first place. Next to be flipped was Megahertz, which, well, it just plain flat out could not self-right, and pitted them. Cedric Slammer somehow got righted and tried to go after Firestorm 4, who pitted themselves. And this is a rare occurrence. It did happen in Series 4. But, yes, all the robots in the pit, Megahertz and Firestorm 4, got through. Firestorm 4 got through to face Flipper, Rambot, Barbaric Response, who did not particularly want to face Firestorm. The 2 robots danced around each other early on until Barbaric Response opened the pit and tried to flip the third seats. Gotta be brave. But Firestorm 4 sent Barbaric Response to a corner and amongst other places, and after Barbaric Response missed a flip, Firestorm 4 flipped Barbaric Response, which self-righted. Then, when the refbot got too close, Firestorm 4 flipped the refbot. Firestorm 4 then got Barbaric Response to an angle grinder, got stuck there themselves, got free, and flipped Barbaric Response. This time, Barbaric Response didn't self-right. But he didn't get counted out either because the refbot had been flipped. So that sent Firestorm through to the Heat final to face Axbot Exterminator. The 2 robots danced around each other early on until Exterminator opened the pit. Exterminator managed to push Firestorm 4 around but did not axe them. Firestorm 4 managed to get Exterminator to shunt, but both bots escaped. Firestorm 4 nearly pitted Exterminator, but instead the third seeds flipped the Axbot. Exterminator landed on its side. Firestorm 4 then tangled with Shunt and won. Exterminator got counted out as Shunt was righted for more fighting, with Firestorm 4 now safely through to the Series semi-finals. Next up for Firestorm 4 was Dual Spinner 13 Black. After a couple of attempts, Firestorm 4 flipped 13 Black. 13 Black can just about run upside down, so Firestorm 4 parked 13 Black on the arena wall so it couldn't move. Trouble is, Firestorm 4 got stuck there too. Eventually, the refbot freed both bots, so Firestorm 4 parked 13 Black on an angle grinder from whence 13 Black could not move. So when the refbot rocked up, it was not to free 13 Black, but to count 13 Black out. Once cease was called, Firestorm 4 freed 13 black. Next up for Firestorm was 7th seeded vertical spinner S3. Firestorm 4 got underneath S3 early on a lot, getting the odd flip in, but S3 landed on its wheels. Just nature of the design, it was very easy to land on its wheels. Then Firestorm got S3 on its side. It's kind of nice and neatly balanced on the side of one of its wheels, and nice and neatly on the Disc of Doom button. S3 managed to wriggle its way free and onto Firestorm 4, who flipped them again. This time, S3 tipped and landed nice and neatly outside the arena. So, Firestorm was the last robot to make the grand final of Series 5. In Series 6, Firestorm 4 was the first robot to make the Series grand final, where they faced 12th seeds Tornado, bringing their ramming scoop to the party. Tornado, bot of many weapons, and this was the one they chose for Firestorm. Tornado pushed Firestorm 4 early on, though Firestorm 4 was proven tricky to catch. The 3rd seeds managed to send the 12th seeds to Shunt, who axed Tornado, but Tornado shoved back and Firestorm escaped and got underneath the 12th seeds, taking them for a spin before the two bots danced around each other. Firestorm 4 then chased Tornado, who opened the pit before pushing Firestorm 4 to Shunt. Both bots got axed, but got out. Tornado pushed Firestorm 4 and the 3rd seeds pushed Tornado straight back to Shunt, but Firestorm 4 had a far harder time getting out than Tornado. When Firestorm 4 escaped, though, it was immediately greeted by Tornado and flipped them over. Firestorm 4 even wore Tornado as a hat for a moment. Nice hat. Firestorm 4 flipped Tornado again. Why? And immediately got pushed around by Tornado again. See, this is why I said why. This time, Tornado's pushing ultimately sent Firestorm 4 into the pit of oblivion. So, Firestorm 4 was sent straight to the 4th place playoff to fight Axbot Terahertz. The two robots bumped into each other early on and danced around each other, Firestorm 4 pushing Terahertz into a wall and narrowly avoided getting axed. However, the 3rd seeds weren't so lucky when they drove into Shunt's corner and got axed by Shunt and Terahertz at the same time. Axe wielding house robots, jeez. Firestorm gained a hole in the process of all that axing, but then Terahertz just went fut and died. Got counted out, and for the 3rd time, Firestorm got 3rd place. So, on to the 2nd series of Robot Wars Extreme, a far more easy series to navigate, where Firestorm 4 was in the All-Stars, landing in Heat A and drawing S3 and flipper Bigger Brother. Bigger Brother and Firestorm 4 went for S3 early on. Bigger Brother managed to flip S3, so Firestorm 4 sent Bigger Brother to a wall. Then Bigger Brother flipped S3 out of the arena. So Firestorm 4 flipped Bigger Brother twice before cease was called. Next it was another flipper, Danton Kia. Firestorm 4 flipped Danton Kia repeatedly early on, allowing Danton Kia to spend some quality time with Sergeant Bash. Danton Kia got out and Firestorm 4 tangled with Sergeant Bash before flipping Danton Kia again. Then Danton Kia flipped Firestorm 4. Firestorm 4 self-righted and flipped Danton Kia into Shunt. Danton Kia got axed as Firestorm 4 escaped, but he came back to annoy Danton Kia some more. After another couple of flips, Danton Kia was toast. So it got axed again. Firestorm 4 went for Shunt, and after some more nudging, Danton Kia was counted out and pitted once Firestorm 4 opened the pit. So next up was Bigger Brother again. Firestorm 4 got caught on the arena floor spinner, but managed to flip Bigger Brother. Bigger Brother self-righted. Firestorm 4 pushed Bigger Brother and the two danced around each other until Bigger Brother flicked Firestorm 4. Firestorm 4 then pushed Bigger Brother to a wall, flipping it twice, which would have landed them into a wall. Bigger Brother, that is, had the nearby shunt not righted them. Bigger Brother got Firestorm 4 close to an arena angle grinder, but Firestorm 4 escaped to push Bigger Brother around, setting off the pit and sending Bigger Brother to a corner. It tried to flip them there, but both bots came under attack from the house robots. They both escaped, but it was now Bigger Brother on the attack, sending Firestorm 4 to shunt. However, Firestorm 4 escaped, flipped Bigger Brother twice more, and at that point Bigger Brother could not self-right anymore. Firestorm 4 pitted them, sending Firestorm 4 to the All-Stars final to face a certain crusher named Razor. Yes, the same Razor that beat Firestorm twice, once in Robot Wars Extreme and once in Series 5. Yeah. Insert dramatic chords here if you like. The two robots danced around each other early on. Firestorm fought, trying to avoid getting caught by Razor, and they did. But reversing into dead metal was not, and they did get caught by Razor. But reversing into dead metal wasn't the smartest move, was it, Razor? Firestorm 4 pushed Razor into a wall whilst Razor was in dead metal's embrace. But Razor got free, and Firestorm 4 got stuck on an arena angle grinder. Dead metal sat on Firestorm 4, and it got free, but soon gained a hole as Razor lifted them in the air. A second and a third followed. Razor opened the pit and sent Firestorm 4 in. So, next was the Commonwealth Carnage Championships, where, representing England, Firestorm 4 drew Australian hammerbot Bondi Titch, Scottish full-body spinner Corkscrew, and Northern Irish flipper spinner Weldor 3. Firestorm 4 went for Weldor 3 early on, managing to flip them, but Weldor 3 self-righted. So Firestorm 4 flipped Weldor 3 and left them, seemingly unable to self-right again. Firestorm 4's next target was Bondi Titch, but it didn't stay Firestorm 4's target for long. Firestorm 4 returned to Weldor 3, sending them to a corner and flipping them out the arena. Bondi Titch opened the pit only to get caught by Firestorm 4, who then left the Australian bot to Corkscrew. Firestorm 4 then returned to flip Bondi Titch some more, hoping to get them out of the arena, but the house robots took their oars in. Both bots were in a corner. A few flips later, though, Bondi Titch were no longer in the arena. They'd been flipped out. Next up for Firestorm was Welsh lifter Panic Attack. Firestorm 4 pushed Panic Attack early on, driving over the Welsh bot, getting a flip in but getting too close to the front forks on the front of Panic Attack, and driving over Panic Attack a second time, before more pushing around, briefly sending both to Sergeant Brash, but they escaped and it wasn't long before Panic Attack did some pushing. Firestorm 4 escaped and a pushing war ensued, though that ended pretty quickly. After another push, Firestorm 4 flipped Panic Attack on its side. Panic Attack could not self-right from that position, so it was counted out, and Firestorm 4 flipped Sergeant Bash before going for Mr. Psycho. Just after Mr. Psycho pitted Panic Attack, the first attempt going after Mr. Psycho ended in Mr. Psycho going after Firestorm, but second time, after Firestorm was nearby when Mr. Psycho pitted Panic Attack, Firestorm managed to underneath Mr. Psycho, and just after cease was called, Firestorm 4 managed to flip the 750 kilogram house robot over. Cue the timber yell. In the final, which Firestorm was safely in, Firestorm 4 faced South African grabber Crustacean, the Crabbot. Firestorm 4 tried to flip Crustacean early on but had no joy, Crustacean being too slippy for the English bot, is dome shaped. Or his case of domed top, dome bottom, very slippy. But Crustacean was not too slippy for the jaws of dead metal, as Crustacean ended up in there twice. After the second time, Firestorm 4 got a few flips in, ultimately getting Crustacean on its side, and it couldn't self-right from there. So it was counted out. Firestorm 4 then went for dead metal, and ended up on the receiving end of a Sergeant Bash tag, but at last they had got a trophy. Firestorm 4 returned for Series 7 as Firestorm 5, now seeded second because Razor didn't return, and landing in Heat P, where it drew full body spinner Daisy Cutter, Dutch Axe Bot Bam Bam, and drum spinner wielding Clusterbot Black and Blue. Firestorm 5 went for black and blue early on, but whilst flipping blue, the second seeds also flipped Bam Bam too. Bam Bam just happened to be attacking blue at the same time. Firestorm 5 flipped black over and sent it to blue, leaving both to Daisy Cutters. Firestorm 5 parked Bam Bam on the pit and opened it. Glug glug. After Daisy Cutter quietly took out black and blue, Firestorm 5 pitied blue, which ruled out black too, due to Clusterbot rules. It wasn't. So next up was Lifter Spinner Repteron II. It wasn't long before Firestorm 5 flipped Repteron II over, managing to land him in Shunt's corner, and soon after on its side. So Firestorm 5 flipped Repteron II until it went out of the arena, sending the second seeds to the heat final, where they faced another flipper, Ripper. That rhymes. I like that. The first flip got Ripper stuck on its rear end and unable to self-right. Firestorm 5 righted Ripper. Two bots danced around each other until Ripper tried to flip Firestorm 5, but Firestorm 5 flipped Ripper onto an angle grinder. Ripper got counted out and Firestorm 5 flipped them out of the arena, through to the series semi-finals, where they first faced Flipper Mute. Another flipper. So many in Series 7. Firestorm 5 drove underneath Mute early on, multiple times, before flipping Mute. Mute tried to self-right, again multiple times, but kept landing upside down, though they did collide with Firestorm at one point. Firestorm 5 then pushed Mute to the arena's edge, and Mute was in a position where whatever it did, it was going to end up outside the arena, whether it be because of Firestorm or because of them trying to self-right. So Firestorm 5 and Mute fired their flippers at the same time, and Mute ended up out of the arena. Next up was Rammer Lifter Storm 2, the 16th seeds. The two robots danced around each other early on, Firestorm 5 trying to flip Storm 2 but failing to get any joy there. Storm 2 did get a push in, Firestorm 5 drove into a wall, and Storm 2 drove over Firestorm 5. Then Storm 2 pushed Firestorm 5 around into the pit release, and after the second seeds drove over Storm 2 into an angle grinder. Storm 2 pushed Firestorm 5 around some more, into walls, Growler, the house robot, and ultimately the pit of oblivion. But there was the All-Stars, where Firestorm 5 drew Panic Attack, Bigger Brother, and Axebot Cat 3. Firestorm 5 immediately flipped Shunt and got stuck on the arena wall, but got free before taking on Cassius Chrome. Yes, Firestorm 5's target was the house robots. It seemed that everyone's target was the house robots. The ref bot opened the pit, Bigger Brother and the ref bot nearly went down. Everyone went for Cassius Chrome. The floor flipper fired. A washing machine landed on the arena dance floor from the drop zone. Firestorm 5 prodded Shunt. stayed out of the way a little bit, but it did get stuck under Shunt somehow. Got free, hit the ref bot, and drew into the pit. Bigger brother soon joined them. After this, Firestorm 5 never returned, but it still does exist, which is good. There's a lot to like about Firestorm. Consistent, well driven, went after house robots. Okay, personal bias here, but painted bright yellow, that's good. And I'd have a hard time imagining a scenario where Firestorm would be UK champion. There were some robots it was just a bad matchup for them. Razor in particular and Rammer's Tornado Storm 2, they would trouble Firestorm. Whilst I can struggle to imagine the scenario in which Firestorm would be UK champion, it is unquestionably one of the best robots not to win the main series of Robot Wars. Not the best though. In my humble opinion, that's Hypnodisc. Okay, that was quite a long one. And once I finish filming, I'm going to have to take all this tinsel down. It's 12th night. Taiki, for the next one, please be kind. Who is it? Loco. Until next week, Allison244 out.